There's alarming new evidence today about the impact and spread of Zika virus. The World Health Organization says it appears the risk of catching the mosquito-borne virus through sexual transmission is far higher than thought, and the complications for unborn babies are far broader than previously feared. Anne Barker reports.
Since the World Health Organization declared Zika virus a global emergency last month, the news has become more and more alarming. After an emergency meeting in Geneva, the UN agency said the impact of Zika and its potential spread is now far worse than previously thought. The number of countries in Latin America where Zika virus is transmitted continues to rise, and where previously only a handful of cases were suspected of being sexually transmitted, now it seems that risk is far higher. The WHO's Director General is Margaret Chan.
The geographical spread of the disease is wider, the risk group is broader, and the modes of transmission now include sexual intercourse as well as mosquito bites.
Although not proven, health authorities worldwide say there's compelling evidence that Zika virus can cause microcephaly in newborn babies, which results most commonly in severe underdevelopment of the baby's brain. And now it seems there are far more complications linked to the virus.
Grave outcomes including fetal death, placental insufficiency, fetal growth retardation, and injury to the central nervous system.
The WHO's claims are consistent with new research that strengthens the link between Zika infection and fetal malformations or neurological disorders. In one study published this month, health researchers from the US and Latin America followed the pregnancies of 88 women in Brazil. 72 were infected with Zika virus, 42 of whom agreed to regular ultrasounds. Of them, 12 gave birth to babies that were seriously underdeveloped, not just in the brain. Several babies had lesions or calcification of the brain or spine. Others had serious problems with the central nervous system. One baby was born without any amniotic fluid, and 2 women miscarried very late in pregnancy, an unusual number for such a small cohort. Dr. Karen Nielsen-Sains is one of the report's authors.
There's also something happening in the third trimester where babies that are apparently well formed, they didn't seem to have any central nervous system abnormalities, but they were dying, and likely related to causes very low production of amniotic fluid or placental insufficiency. I mean, that remains to be determined, but that was highly unusual as well. We were very surprised by those findings.
So how certain are you that these various deformations and lesions and so on and other health complications were connected to Zika virus?
Well, we're pretty sure because these women were positive for the virus earlier on in pregnancy, and we followed them prospectively. We had a group of women who were Zika virus negative. It was only 16 women, but those babies have had normal ultrasounds and the pregnancies have been normal.
What are the implications then for public health? I mean, obviously there is no vaccine for Zika virus. There's talk of trying to fast-track that process. But, I mean, what can be done as a result of these latest findings?
Well, I think we definitely need to know if immunity is protective, if these women, once they acquire Zika virus, or anyone for that matter, if they can develop antibodies that are neutralizing and will stay for life, and if they're really immune, because this will be important for people living in endemic areas, because once they become immune to Zika virus, potentially they would never have the risk of acquiring it again. And that's also important for vaccine development, understanding that. Now, if there's no immunity, then it's even a more serious problem.
Dr. Karen Nielsen-Sains speaking to Anne